I spent weeks digging through real travel budgets, not the glossy guidebook stuff, but actual daily costs from people who've been there. And what I found changed where I'm planning to travel next. Europe has 5 countries right now where you can eat, sleep, and explore for less than the price of a dinner out in Switzerland. Let me show you exactly what they cost. I'm starting with Portugal, because it's kind of the getaway drug to budget travel in Europe. It's Western Europe, good infrastructure, everyone speaks English, but the prices are closer to Eastern Europe than you would ever expect. Here's what you're actually spending per day. If you're being smart, about 50 to 70 euros. That covers a private room in a guest house, 3 solid meals, local transport, and a couple of activities. Let me break that down so you can see why it works. A pastel de nata and a coffee for breakfast, that's like €1.50. Lunch at the local Tasca, the little family-run spot, you're looking at 8 to 10 euros for a full meal with wine included. Yeah, wine is basically a side dish here. Dinner might push you to 15 euros if you go somewhere nice. The real hack in Portugal is getting out of Lisbon. I know everyone goes there and it's beautiful, but if you head to somewhere like Évora or the Azores, your food budget basically cuts in half and the experience is just as rich. The Azores in particular, I found people eating unbelievably well for under 20 euros a day total. One hidden gem most tourists skip, the Algarve town of Armacao de Pera. There's a spot called Horas where you get a full meal, a drink, coffee and dessert for 8 euros. 8 euros. That's the kind of place locals keep to themselves. Transport-wise, trains between cities are cheap. Lisbon to Porto is maybe 20 euros if you book ahead. Buses are even cheaper. This is the one that shocked me the most. Montenegro. It looks like a luxury destination. You've got these dramatic fjord-like bays, medieval stone towns, mountains dropping straight into crystal water. But the daily costs, you can do this on 30 to 50 euros a day as a budget traveler. The magic spot is Kotor Bay. It is UNESCO listed old town wedged between mountains and water. You can get a private room just outside the old town walls for around 27 euros a night. Inside the old town it's more, but you don't need to stay inside. You're a 5-minute walk away and saving half your accommodation budget. Food here is where it gets ridiculous. A bakery breakfast is about 5 euros, lunch at a local restaurant 10 euros, and dinner, even with fresh seafood, often lands around 12 to 15 euros. The hidden gem move. Most people stay in Kotor and call it done. But if you take a day trip to the smaller towns around the bay, Perast for example, you get the same views, fewer crowds and even lower prices. You can hire a car for about 25 euros a day and explore the entire coastline. One thing to know, Montenegro uses the euro, but it's not in the European Union, so prices don't have that EU overhead built in. It's this weird sweet spot where you're paying with a strong currency, but local costs haven't caught up. Bulgaria might be the most underrated country in Europe, full stop. Most people can't even picture it, and that's exactly why prices have stayed so low. You're looking at 25 to 45 euros a day here. That's everything: accommodation, food, transport, activities. A dorm bed in hostel runs you about 8 to 12 euros. A private room in a guest house, maybe 20 to 25 euros. But the food is the real story. A full Bulgarian breakfast with banica. That's this flaky cheesy pastry, and coffee is maybe 3 euros. A sit-down lunch with a beer is 6 to 8 euros. You can eat extremely well on 15 euros a day without even trying. Here's what most travel guides won't tell you. Skip Sofia for most of your trip. Sofia is great to fly into, but the real value is in Plovdiv. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Europe, older than Rome, and it's stunning. Roman ruins, colorful 19th century mansions, a thriving arts scene, and it costs less than Sofia. The hidden gem tip: Eastern Bulgaria, the Black Sea coast, towns like Sozopol and Nesebar give you beach vibes without crowds or prices you'd get in Greece or Croatia. You can stay in a hotel steps from the beach for 30 euros a night. One budget hack worth knowing: public transport between cities costs almost nothing. A bus from Sofia to Plovdiv is about 8 euros. Trains are even cheaper, just lower. If you're not in a rush, you save significantly. Poland is where the value to experience ratio goes through the roof. We are talking 30 to 45 euros a day for a country that feels like it should cost twice that. Krakow is the obvious starting point. The main square is one of the most beautiful in Europe, and a good meal with a drink around there is 8 to 10 euros. A milk bar: these are old communist-era cafeterias that survived and are now beloved by locals. You can get a full plate of pierogi for 3 euros. 3 euros and they're good. But here is the hidden gem place, Wrocław. It's about 3 hours from Krakow, and it's this colorful, island-filled city that most international tourists completely skip. It has over 100 bridges, a thriving food scene, and prices are even lower than Krakow. You can find meals for under 5 euros. And if you want nature, Zakopane in the Tatra Mountains give you proper alpine scenery. Hiking trails, wooden cabins, mountain lakes. The whole alpine experience for about a third of what you would pay somewhere in Switzerland. Quick transport tip: Poland has this app called Jak Dojadę that covers every city's public transport, and 24-hour ticket in most cities is about 3 to 4 euros. Albania wins by a lot. It's not just the cheapest country in Europe, it's genuinely one of the most beautiful, and almost nobody is talking about it. You can travel Albania on 25 to 35 euros a day. Let that sink in. 30 euros gets you a private room, 3 meals, transport, and maybe a beach chair. On the really cheap end, backpackers are getting by on 20 to 25. Food is almost laughably affordable. A full lunch, like a proper Albanian meal with grilled meat, fresh salad, bread and a drink, is 4 to 6 euros. A cappuccino by the beach is about 1 euro. Dinner at a restaurant, even seafood, rarely breaks 10 euros per person. The accommodation story is wild too. Private rooms in guest houses in most towns, 15 to 20 euros a night. Hostel dorms under 10 euros. You could spend a full week here, 7 days, for what 1 night in a Swiss hotel costs. Now the hidden gems. Most people go to the Albanian Riviera, Samil Sarandi, and yeah, it's stunning. But the inland towns are where things get magical. Berat, the city of thousand windows, is this UNESCO town of white Ottoman houses stacked up a hillside. Gjirokastër is another stone city with a massive castle overlooking the valley. Both are dirt cheap and completely under-visited. One thing to know: Albania runs on cash. ATMs exist, but they are not everywhere, and cards aren't widely accepted outside Tirana. Bring euros and exchange them locally. You'll get better rates than withdrawing from ATMs with foreign fees. Let me give you the quick comparison so this really lands. This is the daily budget traveler cost. Private room, 3 meals, local transport and then activity. Portugal 50 to 70 euros, Montenegro 30 to 50, Bulgaria 25 to 45, Poland 30 to 45 and Albania 25 to 35 euros. Now, 3 universal tips that work across all 5 countries. First, travel in shoulder season, May, early June, September. You will pay 30 to 40% less on accommodation and flights compared to July and August. The weather is still great and the crowds are way thinner. Second, Eat where the locals eat. You already know this, but it's worth repeating. The restaurant with an English menu and a guy standing outside is never the cheapest or the best. Walk 2 streets back from the main square, look for the place full of locals. That's where your money stretches. Third, use buses and trains between cities, not flights. A bus ticket in the Balkans or Eastern Europe is often 5 to 15 euros for a several-hour journey. Once you start flying, you lose the cost advantage that makes these countries amazing in the first place. So which one wins overall? For pure value, beauty per euro spent, it's Albania. And it's not close. You get Mediterranean beaches, UNESCO towns, mountain landscapes and incredible food for less than the price of a Swiss lunch. But here's the honest trade-off for each. Portugal is the most expensive on this list, but it has the best infrastructure and English is everywhere. If you're nervous about traveling somewhere unfamiliar, start here. Montenegro has the most dramatic scenery. Those bay views are unforgettable. Poland balances everything. Great food, beautiful cities, excellent transport, and it feels very safe and comfortable for a first-time budget traveler. And Albania is the cheapest, it's stunning, but it requires a little more travel confidence. Cash-based economy, less English in rural areas, public transport is more, let's call it, adventurous. No matter which one you choose, the point is this: you don't need a huge budget to experience Europe, you just need to pick the right places. If you found this useful and want more cost breakdowns like this, real numbers, no fluff, hit subscribe. I'm building out a whole series breaking down exactly what trips actually cost, so you can plan without the guesswork. Let me know in the comments which of these 5 you would visit first. I read every single one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.